Put the kettle on and settle in, because what we are about to show you might change the way you look at your kitchen forever. That bottle of extra virgin olive oil you keep by the hob, there is a very real chance it is not what the label says it is. And that is only the beginning. Today, we are walking through 30 everyday foods sold in British supermarkets that are not quite what they pretend to be. Crab that contains no crab, wasabi that contains no wasabi, honey that may contain no honey at all, bread that a court ruled was legally closer to cake. Some of these are outright imitations, some are clever legal loopholes, and some are perfectly legal products relying on you never turning the packet over. None of this is about scaremongering. Every item on this list is either a matter of published regulation, a documented court ruling, or an independent test, and where the industry disputes a finding, we will tell you. Our job is simply to help you read the label like the people who wrote it. So before you do your next shop, stay with us, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your trolley the same way again. Let us begin. Before we start the countdown, it helps to understand why so much of our food is a step removed from what it claims to be. It nearly always comes down to one thing: cost. Real ingredients are expensive. Real crab, real wasabi, real vanilla, real aged cheese, real cold-pressed olive oil. These things cost money to produce. So the food industry has become extraordinarily good at recreating the look, the color, and the name of the expensive thing using far cheaper substitutes and then selling it to you at a price that sits comfortably between the two. You pay less than the real thing would cost, which feels like a win, but far more than the substitute is worth, which is where the profit lives. The second thing to understand is that the label is a legal document, and legal documents are written carefully. Words like flavor, style, product, and made with are doing an enormous amount of quiet work. Strawberry flavor does not require a strawberry. Chocolatey does not require chocolate. Made with real fruit juice can be true when the fruit juice is a rounding error. Once you learn to spot these words, the supermarket becomes a very different place. Right, 30 foods, let us count them down. Number 30, imitation crab. That crab stick in your seafood salad or your supermarket sushi contains, in most cases, no crab whatsoever. It is a product called surimi, which is white fish, usually pollock, ground into a smooth paste and bound with starch, sugar, and crab flavoring. That reddish-pink stripe down the side is not from a crab shell. It is coloring, often paprika extract or a red food dye. It is not dangerous. It is simply not crab, despite sitting there looking exactly like it. Number 29. Wasabi. The little green blob served with your sushi is almost certainly not wasabi. Real wasabi is one of the most expensive ingredients on earth. It grows only in very specific conditions, and it loses its punch within about 15 minutes of being grated, so no ordinary restaurant could realistically serve it. What you are eating is horseradish, mustard powder, and green coloring. It clears the sinuses, but the genuine article it is not. Number 28. Pre-grated hard cheese. That tub or shaker of Italian hard cheese or Parmesan-style cheese is not the same as genuine Parmigiano Reggiano. The real thing is protected in law, made in specific regions of Italy, aged at least 12 months, from just 3 ingredients: milk, salt, and rennet. The cheap grated version is often a different, younger cheese, and crucially it is dusted with an anti-caking agent, frequently cellulose, a plant fiber, to stop it clumping. You are paying premium prices for something padded out to keep it free-flowing. Number 27. Pre-shredded cheese. The same trick applies to the bag of ready grated cheddar in your fridge. It is coated in an anti-caking agent, and often an anti-mold agent too, to stop the shreds sticking together on the shelf. That coating is exactly why it never melts as smoothly as cheese you grate yourself. You are paying more for a product that melts worse because of a barrier added purely for shelf convenience. Number 26. Processed cheese slices. Those individually wrapped orange squares are often labeled cheese slices or cheese food rather than simply cheese, and there is a reason for that careful wording. A significant portion of each slice is not cheese at all, but a blend of emulsifiers, milk proteins, and oils engineered into that perfectly smooth rectangle. Real cheese ages and develops character. These slices can sit unchanged for months because most of what makes cheese a living food has been processed out. Number 25. Bacon bits. Those crunchy bacon bits you scatter on a salad frequently contain no pork at all. Check the packet and many are made from textured soya, colored reddish, and coated in smoke flavoring. They are essentially flavored soya pellets in a bacon costume. If you have been avoiding soya, this is one to watch because it turns up on salad bars and in dressings without anyone mentioning it. Number 24. Chicken nuggets. Cheaper chicken nuggets are often made using mechanically separated meat, the paste produced by forcing poultry carcasses through machinery under pressure to recover every last scrap after the prime cuts are gone. It is bound with starch and phosphates and shaped into something nugget-like. In some products, only a minority of the nugget is actual chicken meat, with the rest made up of batter, skin, and fillers. It must be labelled, so the information is there if you look for it. Number 23. Instant mashed potato. Convenient, yes, but those potato flakes are dried at high temperature, which strips out much of the vitamin content, leaving mostly starch. Manufacturers then add emulsifiers and stabilizers to fake the creamy texture that butter and milk would give a real mash, plus a significant hit of salt. A fresh potato mashed at home has none of that added. You are trading nutrition and real food for a few minutes saved. Number 22. Non-dairy coffee whitener. Despite the name, there is no cream in it, and here is the irony. Many non-dairy creamers actually contain sodium caseinate, a milk-derived protein. The bulk of the product is glucose syrup solids, vegetable oils, and emulsifiers, with the bright white color sometimes coming from titanium dioxide, an additive now banned as a food ingredient across the EU, worth reading the tub. Number 21. Squirty and long-life cream toppings. Some aerosol and long-life cream-style toppings contain little or no actual cream. Turn them round and you may find water, vegetable oil and sugar high up the list, whipped full of air and stabilized to hold its shape for days, something real whipped cream will never do. Real double cream whips up in under a minute with nothing but a whisk. The convenience version is mostly oil, sugar and air. If even a couple of these have surprised you, we do this every single week. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one. Drop a comment telling us which food on this list shocked you the most. Every hype pushes this video to thousands more shoppers who deserve to know what is really in the food they are feeding their families. Number 20. Truffle oil. That gourmet truffle oil you drizzle to feel fancy almost never contains any truffle. The aroma comes from a synthetic compound, 2,4-dithiapentane, engineered in a lab to mimic one narrow note of real truffle. Genuine truffle-infused oil would cost a fortune. The supermarket bottle is usually plain oil with a few drops of synthetic flavoring. Some of the most respected chefs in the world refuse to use it for exactly this reason. Number 19. Vanilla. Real vanilla comes from hand-pollinated orchid pods and is one of the most labor-intensive spices on the planet. So the overwhelming majority of vanilla-flavored products, by some estimates around 99%, use synthetic vanillin instead, often derived from wood pulp byproducts. That vanilla biscuit or ice cream may never have been near a real vanilla pod. Look for vanilla flavoring versus actual vanilla extract or seeds. Number 18. Cheap chocolate coatings. That chocolatey drizzle on a cereal bar may not legally be chocolate. Real chocolate depends on cocoa butter, but cheaper coatings swap that out for palm kernel or coconut oil. Here is the home test. Real chocolate melts at body temperature, in your hand. A waxy coating that stays solid no matter how warm your fingers get is telling you what it is made of. If you are eating dark chocolate for the antioxidants, a vegetable fat coating gives you none of them. Number 17. Whole wheat and brown bread. That wholesome brown loaf is sometimes just refined white flour tinted with caramel colouring to look healthier and more wholemeal than it is. Genuine wholemeal uses the whole grain and says so clearly. If wholemeal is not near the top of the ingredients and the colour is doing the talking, the brownness may be cosmetic. Number 16. Subway bread. This one went all the way to a Supreme Court. In 2020, the Irish Supreme Court ruled that the bread served by Subway contained so much sugar, around 10% of the weight of the flour, 5 times the legal limit, that it could not be classed as bread under Ireland's tax law. The court effectively found it sat, for legal purposes, closer to confectionery than to a staple loaf. Subway maintains its bread is bread, but the ruling is a striking reminder of how much sugar hides in food we think of as savory. Number 15. Painted on grill marks. Those neat, evenly spaced char lines on a frozen burger or chicken breast are often not from a grill at all. They are applied, sometimes with heated branding plates, sometimes with caramel coloring, because actually grilling every item in mass production would be too slow and costly. Real grill marks come from the Maillard reaction, which creates flavor. Painted lines are pure theater, added because we instinctively assume grill-marked food tastes better. Number 14. Strawberry yogurt. That pink fruit yogurt often contains more sugar than strawberry. The soft pink color can come from carmine, a dye made from crushed insects. The flavor is frequently built from synthetic compounds rather than fruit, and where there is real strawberry, it can be a very small percentage of the pot. People buy yogurt for gut health, but the fruit versions can carry more sweeteners and additives than beneficial cultures. Number 13. Blueberry muffins and cereals. Those little blue nuggets in a mass-produced muffin or cereal are frequently not blueberries. They can be made from sugar, oil, and dye, shaped and colored to look like fruit, because real blueberries cost far more and turn a dull brown when baked. Blueberry flavor on the label does not legally require a single real berry. Someone topping their porridge with these, thinking antioxidants, is often getting colored sugar. Number 12. Processed guacamole. That tub of guacamole may contain surprisingly little avocado. Some versions lean heavily on vegetable oils, thickeners, and green coloring to mimic the real thing, and one major case abroad saw a brand challenged for being built largely on other ingredients entirely. Real avocado browns quickly once opened. If a tub stays vivid green for weeks, preservatives and stabilizers are doing that, and if you are buying it for the healthy fats, cheap oil does not deliver them. Number 11. Fruit juice drinks. Read the difference between juice and juice drink. A product labeled juice drink or fruit cocktail can legally contain only a small fraction of actual juice, sometimes as little as around a tenth, with the rest water, sugar or sweetener, and acid. Even made with real fruit juice can be true when the juice is barely present. A glass can carry as much sugar as a fizzy drink while sitting in the healthy aisle. Number 10. Cola and caramel color. That deep brown color in cola and many sauces is not flavor at all. It is caramel coloring, added purely so the product looks the way we expect. It contributes nothing to taste. The same cosmetic coloring turns up in soy sauce, gravies, and flavored crisps. It is the most widely used food coloring in the world, and it exists entirely because we have been trained to expect certain foods to be a certain shade. Number 9. Margarine and buttery spreads. Margarine began life as a cheap butter substitute, and many spreads today lean on marketing like made with butter or made with olive oil, where those ingredients sit right at the bottom of the list in tiny amounts. Without added coloring, margarine would be a pale grey, so beta-carotene is added to fake that buttery yellow. On some buttery spreads, water is the first ingredient. You can be paying butter money for flavored water and processed oil. Number 8. White tuna in sushi. Fish labeled white tuna has, in numerous investigations, turned out to be escala, a completely different fish that contains indigestible wax esters and can cause unpleasant digestive effects. It has been restricted in some countries for that reason. Real albacore costs more, so the substitution is profit-driven. Mislabeled fish is one of the most documented food frauds worldwide, and the UK is not exempt. Number 7. Cinnamon. Most of the ground cinnamon on supermarket shelves is not true. Ceylon cinnamon, but cassia, a cheaper bark that looks similar but contains far higher levels of coumarin, a compound that can stress the liver in regular high doses. True cinnamon comes in delicate, papery layers. Cassia forms thick, hard curls. Labels rarely tell you which you are buying, so if you use it daily, it is worth seeking out cinnamon that specifies Ceylon. Number 6. Maple syrup. Much of what is sold as pancake syrup contains little or no real maple. Genuine maple syrup is expensive to produce, so the cheaper version is often glucose or corn syrup with coloring and maple flavoring. Maple flavor or maple style on the front is the tell. Real maple syrup will say 100% maple and cost accordingly. Number 5. Enhanced and vitamin waters. These sound healthy, the name literally says vitamin, but a single bottle can contain nearly as much sugar as a can of cola, and the added vitamin are cheap, synthetic isolates. In a court case abroad, the manufacturer of one famous brand actually argued that no reasonable person would expect the drink to be healthy. Enhanced water has no real legal meaning. It is, very often, sugar water with marketing. Number 4. Extra virgin olive oil. We opened with this, and it earns its place. Olive oil is one of the most adulterated foods in the world. Cheaper oils, sunflower, soybean, and others are sometimes blended in without disclosure, and rancid oil can be chemically deodorized and sold as extra virgin. Fraud is so widespread that entire laboratories exist to detect it, and European authorities have seized millions of litres in raids. The home test, real extra virgin, has a peppery bitterness at the back of the throat. If yours is completely flat, ask why. Number 3. Honey. This is one of the most serious on the list. When the Honey Authenticity Network UK sent 30 samples for DNA testing in 2024, 24 of the 25 jars bought from major retailers were flagged as suspicious, potentially bulked out with cheap sugar syrup, while every sample from British beekeepers came back genuine. Now, importers and the UK government dispute the reliability of these tests, and that disagreement is real and ongoing, so we report it as a contested finding, not a proven verdict. But the pattern keeps recurring. Blended honey does not have to declare its country of origin. The UK imports large volumes of cheap honey, and real honey crystallizes over time. A jar that stays perfectly clear and runny for years is at least worth a second look. Number 2. Fresh bread with a 20-ingredient list. Traditional bread is 4 ingredients: flour, water, yeast, salt. Yet a typical long-life supermarket loaf can carry 20 or more, including dough conditioners and preservatives to keep it soft for a week. One additive once used to make bread stretchier, azodicarbonamide, is the same compound used in some foam products, and while it is banned here in the UK and EU, it tells you the direction mass production has travelled. If your bread has a list longer than your arm, it is engineered for shelf life, not for you. And number 1. The word natural. The single biggest piece of misdirection in the supermarket is not one product. It is a word. Natural flavouring sounds wholesome, but it does not require the food it names. Natural strawberry flavour need not contain strawberry. Historically, one natural vanilla flavouring was even derived from a secretion from beavers. Natural, farm fresh, artisan, finest, classic. Almost none of these have a strict legal definition. They are marketing, and they are on almost everything. Once you stop trusting the front of the pack and start reading the back, you see the whole game. So what do we do with all of this? The point of this list is not to frighten you out of the supermarket. Most of these foods are perfectly safe to eat. The point is that you are constantly being sold the idea of one thing while being handed a cheaper substitute. And the only defense you have is the label, not the front of the pack, with its pictures of fruit and its wholesome words. The back, the ingredients in order of weight, and the percentages the law forces manufacturers to declare. The pattern repeats across every category. The expensive real ingredient is quietly swapped for a cheap one. The colour is faked, the name is kept. And a word like flavour or style or natural does the legal heavy lifting so that nobody has technically lied to you. You do not need to memorise all 30. You just need to build one habit, turn the packet over before it goes in the trolley. That single habit will do more for your shopping than any diet plan, because it puts you back in charge of what you are actually buying. Before we go, here is the UK Food Exposed Fake Food Check. 5 things under 30 seconds on any product you are unsure about. 1. Read the name carefully. Flavour, style, product, and made with are warning words. They mean the real thing may not be in there. 2. Check the percentage. The law makes manufacturers declare how much of the headline ingredient is actually present. Find that number. 3. Ask what is doing the colour. If a food is a suspiciously perfect shade, look for added colouring high in the list. 4. Count the ingredients. 4 or 5 simple ones is a good sign. 20. Half of them unpronounceable means heavy engineering. 5. Be skeptical of health-sounding words with no legal meaning. Natural, farm fresh, And artisan are marketing, not guarantees. If this changed the way you look at your kitchen, share this video with someone who still trusts the front of the packet. Drop a comment telling us which of the 30 fooled you the longest. Subscribe if you have not already and hit hype, because every single one pushes this investigation to thousands more shoppers who deserve to know what is really in their food. Demand real food, not a clever label.